I don't remember a single moment when everything changed. I remember silence. I was the only child in my family. There were no siblings to share the confusion with, no one my age to ask the same questions. When my parents passed away, it wasn't just them I lost. It was the entire world I knew. I was too young to understand what death really meant, but old enough to feel the absence, the emptiness, and the weight of something that could never be explained to a child. Growing up alone in that way shaped me deeply. When you don't have anyone to lean on at your level, you learn early how to stand on your own. That loneliness forced me to look inward, to become independent, and over time, it made me strong. It made me self-aware. It made me confident in ways I didn't even realize back then. The trauma didn't arrive loudly, it settled quietly inside me. I didn't understand what had happened, only that nothing felt the same. No one teaches a child how to grieve when they don't yet have the words for it. I carried questions without answers, emotions without names, and memories that felt distant but heavy at the same time. After my parents passed, my grandparents, Margot and Noel, raised me. They didn't just give me a place to live, they gave me stability when everything else had fallen apart. They became my foundation. What I didn't realize then was that they were grieving too, while still showing up for me every single day. There were nights I couldn't sleep, moments when feelings surfaced without warning. Trauma has a way of shaping you long before you understand what it is. As a child, I didn't know I was surviving something. I just knew I had to keep moving forward. Margot and Noel were always there, quietly strong, constant. They never tried to erase my past, only to guide me through it. They taught me that love doesn't disappear when people do. It transforms, it stays, it watches over you in ways you don't always see. They are deeply spiritual people. From them, I learned that life is more than what happens on the surface. They taught me to trust my intuition, to listen to what can't always be explained, and to understand that pain often carries meaning we only recognize much later. Because of them, I experienced things many children never get to experience. I traveled. I saw the world. I inherited money from my parents, but what truly shaped me wasn't material. It was perspective, wisdom, a deeper understanding of life. Growing up alone, combined with their guidance, made me confident in who I am and unafraid to walk my own path. They didn't raise me to forget where I came from. They raised me to understand it. For a long time, I carried my story quietly. I learned how to function, how to smile, how to keep going without always looking back. Maybe that's how I survived. Maybe that's why it took years to fully understand how deeply those early experiences affected me. Today, I see it clearly. My grandparents didn't just raise me, they shaped me. Margot and Noel mean everything to me. They are my roots, my strength, and my proof that even through loss, something powerful can grow. There was a time in my life when I thought being strong meant never looking back. I had learned how to stand on my own early. Being the only child, growing up without my parents, taught me independence before I even understood what the word meant. From the outside, I looked confident, calm, in control. And in many ways, I was. But confidence can also be a mask, one you don't realize you're wearing until it starts to crack. As I grew older, the silence I carried from childhood began to speak, not with words, but with feelings. Restlessness, pressure, a sense that something inside me was unresolved. I had everything I was supposed to have: freedom, opportunities, experiences most people my age never had. I traveled, I saw the world. I lived without limits, yet somewhere along the way, I started to feel disconnected from myself. That's the strange thing about trauma. It doesn't always show up as pain. Sometimes it shows up as emptiness. My grandparents, Margot and Noel, noticed it before I did. They never pushed me to talk. They understood that some realizations have to come from within. Their spirituality had always surrounded me, but now I began to truly step into it myself. I started asking deeper questions about purpose, about energy, about why certain patterns kept repeating in my life. They taught me that healing isn't about forgetting, it's about understanding. That confidence without awareness can become ego, but confidence rooted in truth becomes power. Slowly, I began to see that the strength I had built was real, but it was incomplete. I had inherited money, freedom, and opportunity, but what I hadn't inherited was emotional clarity. That part I had to earn. There were moments when everything felt heavy, when memories surfaced without warning, when I questioned who I was beyond my story. And for the first time, I allowed myself to sit with it instead of running forward. I stopped asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and started asking, "What is this trying to teach me?" That shift changed everything. I began to understand that my confidence wasn't just a defense, it was a foundation. Being raised alone made me self-reliant, but being raised by Margot and Noel taught me wisdom. They showed me that spirituality isn't about escaping pain, but about transforming it, about turning wounds into awareness. I'm still becoming, still uncovering layers, still learning how to balance strength with vulnerability. This part of my story isn't about answers, it's about awakening. Thank you for staying with me through this story. If this meant something to you, please like and subscribe to my channel. It would truly mean the world to me. This is only part of my journey, and I'm grateful you're here.